We recently did segments on foreign dark money and on corruption in the EU, in which we mentioned a rumored deal to funnel illicit oil revenues from the Russian government to the party of Matteo Salvini, Italy's de facto leader and selfie extraordinaire. Shirts? Very much optional. Thanks to a bombshell report late last week, we now have hard evidence that this rumor is true. Salvini's called it a fantasy, but thanks to BuzzFeed's reporting, we now have an audio recording proving the deal was discussed in detail between Salvini's people, including his closest aide, and 3 Russians connected to Putin. 6 people, 3 Italians and 3 Russians, met in Moscow's Hotel Metropole in October of last year to discuss the deal. It called for a Russian oil company to sell 3 million metric tons of fuel to Italian oil company Eni, which has denied any knowledge of the deal, for a list price of roughly 1.3 billion euros. The Russian company would then discount this amount by around 60 million euros, which, through intermediaries, would be funneled to Salvini's League party. Small problem. That's blatantly illegal, not to mention immoral. Under Italian law at the time of the meeting, parties could accept no more than 100,000 euros from foreign donors. And that law has since been changed to 0 euros. And right alongside Salvini, in the middle of this, is his longtime aide and close friend, Gianluca Savaini, whom Italian media has referred to as Salvini's Sherpa to Russia. Here they are together in Moscow's Red Square, and here's a video he posted of a dinner they all attended just last month in Rome. In fact, Salvini must have a crippling addiction to borscht, because he's been to Russia 8 times since the end of 2014 and the beginning of this year. What could possibly be a legitimate professional reason for an Italian politician to visit Russia 8 times in the span of 4 years? I'm genuinely asking, because I'm completely stumped. Now, there's no hard evidence yet that this deal did materialize, but that's a little bit beside the point. Salvini, through his deputies, was attempting to sell his party's policies to Putin, who wants to destabilize EU democracies and buy allies to help lift EU sanctions against his government. And guess what? Salvini has repeatedly called for EU sanctions against Russia to be lifted. That shirt says no sanctions on Russia. Hey, look at the bright side. At least he's wearing a shirt. But he could soon lose it again. Just days ago, an Italian lawyer who took part in the meeting wrote an open letter to an Italian newspaper confirming that the meeting happened and saying he would cooperate with prosecutors. Gulp. A complete transcript of the audio recording is linked in the description, as is the original article. This is a clear case of democratically elected representatives putting their interests before those of their people through a shameless plan to break the law and sell out their country.